to cancel Ice Cube, NWA, F the police, Ice Cube, but they trying to cancel Ice Cube. That's what it looks like. Apparently, he just released a video on Sunday addressing some of his issues with the police, excuse me, not the police, but politics, both sides, Republicans and Democrats. And the tweet just came out. A tweet just came out that basically says he met with the Trump administration to work on their new platinum plan. Well, apparently we live in a time where you're not even allowed to meet with people who you disagree with. There's the story right here. This is trending on Twitter right now. Let me make it down. I'm going to look at Ice Cube's video here in a second and offer up my thoughts, but it says, Trump advisor gives a shout out to Ice Cube for his willingness to step up and work with the Trump administration plan to help develop the platinum plan. Trump administration to help develop the platinum plan for Black Americans. Though Ice Cube has not commented on his involvement with the platinum plan, which touts an almost $500 billion package for the Black community, he did post a video discussing his communication with both Republicans and Democrats regarding his contract with Black America. So I'm going to show that video here in a sec, or clips of it. Here's the tweet from Katrina Pearson, a Trump associate, and she basically just says, shout out to Ice Cube for his willingness to step up and work with the real Donald Trump administration to help develop the platinum plan. Leaders gonna lead, haters gonna hate. So this now is all over social media. F Ice Cube. 3 weeks ago, Ice Cube acted as if he was vilifying between Trump and while quietly working with Trump. I called it manipulation of the black male vote. Sees Ice Cube trending, right? I mean, Twitter is having a field day right now on Ice Cube. They are upset, which is really, really interesting. So I'm going to show you guys these clips from what Ice Cube actually said. And I think it's actually really reasonable. I think anybody that's paying attention to what's being said is like, oh yeah, this isn't that big of a deal. But this speaks to a fragment of our society, unfortunately, that even communication with someone that this group deems is discarded politically, you can get canceled for it. And that to me is wild, right? There's little desire to see nuance. There's little desire to acknowledge any of this stuff. Ice Cube has been very vocal about not endorsing any candidate. Ice Cube's been vocal about not endorsing any party. And so just the sheer fact that apparently he met with the Republicans, people are like, oh, Ice Cube, he's a terrible person. F Ice Cube, we hate him. And it's like, fam, is this how we progress the country forward, that we're not even willing to talk to anyone we disagree with? Woo, that's problematic. Let's look at this video and get into it. Check this out. This is what he actually said. All right, this is what he actually said. Just you guys tell me if this is reasonable or not. I think this is very reasonable.
Everybody's been mad at me because I haven't been on the fucking
hide your kids, hide your wife.
The gravy train of these candidates, especially Joe Biden and Harris. I don't trust none of them. No president has done right by us. So I don't trust none of them. So putting our hopes and dreams behind any of them just don't work. We gotta make them do what we want them to do. And there's only a few ways to do that. Now, I've been making contacts, trying to talk about these real issues, straight up, I believe the Democrats they've been nice, they've been cordial, so to speak. I don't really see them pushing their policies in any different direction. They're still talking this minority, people of color shit. That don't necessarily include us. That don't necessarily include Black Americans, especially descendants of slaves.
So catch what he said. He said Democrats have been talking about minorities, people of color. He said that doesn't necessarily include Black people. and he's saying, listen, I met with these people, and I had, a conversation with both sides, and he's saying Democrats are strictly talking about people of color, not necessarily an agenda for the black community. Now, if you guys don't know, Ice Cube came out with something, and we'll reference it, called what is it called? Let me try to pull it up. It is called the Black Agenda, like the contract with Black America or something like that, right? I'll get you guys the exact name. And so he's on some like, listen, I'm after figuring out some specific details. CWBA. If you search CWBA, you'll see it. He introduced it earlier, and his contract with Black America. Excuse me, that's what it is. Contract with Black America. So he's saying, look, we are trying to have a specific conversation about specific issues for Black America. Democrats are kind of lumping us all in as, people of color, and that's fine, but it's not specific to us. They'll kind of just lump every minority in together. That's a really interesting point that he's making. Now check this out.
ADOS, American descendants of slaves. That ain't specifically us. It's everybody. We ain't gonna get shit. Because when you look around, everybody hates us. So we still at the bottom of that. Explicit. So, I think the Democrats, they got every black celebrity and shit on their team, so they just figure, tell Q to shut the fuck up and vote. And so, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna push the program. We got a program, I'm pushing it on everybody. We also met with the Republicans and shit. They brought us in. We talked to them. They've moved their agenda a lot.
So listen, he's saying the Democrats are lumping all of Black America in. And I'm going to show you guys his current tweet. So Democrats kind of lumped everybody in as minority, people of color, that would consider every LGBTQ, different races, everybody, right? And he's saying the Republicans actually brought us in and wanted to have a conversation. Now, whether or not that's contrived and whether or not that's because Trump is trying to win over the black vote, which Trump, I believe, got the biggest percentage of the black, it's not massive, but it's the biggest percentage of the black vote since Bush, since ever, right? Like ever. Like I think he has the biggest percentage of it, right? Not Bush, since ever. Listen.
We also met with the Republicans and shit. They brought us in. We talked to them. They've moved their agenda a lot because of what we said. They put $500 billion on the table. But who knows? Who knows what's gonna really happen? I just know one of them gonna win, and I don't know if it can really matter to us. We gotta just push whoever is in there, because ain't nobody really solved our problems. People say we can't take another 4 years of this. Black people, we could take anything. Shit. Joe Biden, the Democrats, I believe they owe us. Will they do right by us at the end of the day? Who knows? I think the plan they have is they're doing a lot when it comes to safety and police and all this shit. But, that dough is thin. Everybody's money is thin. We're not gonna get no respect in this country without the cash. We ain't gonna get no respect in this country without having money in our community. It just ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
So, really insightful, right? First of all, the whole notion that, this thing is going to fall apart if Trump gets another 4 years. He's just like, listen, we've had 4 years of this before. Like we've had Reagan. Like no one person is going to ruin the country in 4 years. All right, no one person is going to ruin the country in 4 years. That's why we have 3 branches of government. So I think that's a great point. Here's what he actually tweeted right after. He said, facts, I put out the CWBA, which is the Contract with Black America. Both parties contacted me. Dem said we'll address the CWBA after the election. Trump campaign made some adjustments to their plan after talking to us about the CWA. Right? And then somebody said, my hip-hop hero is working with the dark side. I haven't felt this low since Kobe. Heartbreaking, Cube. Every side is the dark side. For us here in America, they're all the same until something changes for us. They all lie and they all cheat, but we can't afford not to negotiate with whoever is in power, or our condition in this country will never change. Our justice is bipartisan. First of all, this is a crappy time if somebody's quote unquote getting canceled strictly because they met with the Trump administration. That's trash. And this is one of the issues with cancel culture in general, okay? And first of all, you can't cancel Ice Cube. He's Ice Cube. Like the man, like especially like for what? For meeting with the campaign and pushing his contract with Black America? Like that is just ridiculous. Second of all, the fact that you will dismiss and discard somebody simply because they have a differing of opinion with you, and you're so polarized that you think one person can ruin this country or has ruined this country, and one person is the devil incarnate. That is wild to me. I'm not the biggest fan of Trump. I've been critical of Trump, but let's not get this hyperbolic to the point where we assume that Trump is just the devil incarnate or Biden is the devil incarnate, right? Like I don't like either one of them, but for someone in Ice Cube's position who has an agenda for black people and wants to have these conversations, and he's saying the needle is moving forward because they adjusted their platinum plan to accommodate, and those of you go read the platinum plan that Trump put out. Not a lot of details, but some good stuff in there. There's a lot of good stuff in there, right? Funding for HBCUs, more funding for black homeowners, more funding for black small businesses, more opportunity zones, $500 billion. That's good stuff, void of some details. But the notion that you can cancel somebody is silly. And then listen to his last point. What was his last point? He said, money is what moves things forward. Access to capital is what moves things forward. Obviously, Ice Cube being wildly successful, multiple movies, director, albums, basketball league, the whole bit. That is ultimately going to be what progresses us, is capital, right? Is capital. And I tell people, listen, it's not a perfect system. Capitalism isn't a perfect system. Free market capitalism isn't a perfect system. But what we can do is we could take ownership back and do it in an ethical way where we're ethically wealth building and we're finessing the system at our benefit. By and large, just America still has one of the lowest, if not the lowest, tax rate. And if you know how to run a business and structure even a DBA or a separate business account, you can write off a lot of your expenses and you can get some of these tax breaks and you can build something that you can pass down and get paid more than working a job. And I feel like, even though that's not what he said, I feel like those are some of the principles that we have to latch into, is that instead of canceling somebody, how about we hear them out? Go watch his actual video instead of saying, oh, Ice Cube met with the Republicans, he's done. Really? That's where it's came to. Wow. That is sad. That's a sad, sad day in America if that's what we're on, man. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think in terms of all this? I think cancel culture is extremely trash and extremely toxic, unless someone's like out there wilding out, killing babies, something like that's different, right? That's different. But when we're talking about someone having a partisan conversation with someone you deem as the enemy because you bought into the groupthink that it is literally the second regime of the Nazi establishment, you're silly and you're goofy, and that's not what it is. And this is coming from somebody that you will read any of my political videos and be like, you're not, you're so hard on Trump. Yes, I am. I am hard on Trump because I think he's divisive, and I think sometimes he's just reckless with his mouth, but that doesn't mean you don't have a conversation with somebody. That doesn't mean you don't engage and figure out what can you get to push your agenda forward. And Ice Cube has an agenda here. Contract with Black America. That's a very specific agenda that he has, and I salute him for that. I salute him for being politically agnostic and stepping in the middle and saying, hey, both of y'all is wild, and what we're really fighting against isn't each other, Republican, Democrat. We're really fighting against the extremism and the divisiveness from partisan politics in general. That's the real enemy. Those are my thoughts. What do you guys think?
King's Dream Entertainment. Ruslan.